Yeah, for those who don't know, the way the Spy Party Competitive League, SCL for short, works is that all of the signups are split into a ladder of divisions spanning all the way from diamond and platinum at the top to oak and obsidian at the bottom. And this match here between JD and monaters is in copper, which is one of the mid-level divisions.
Yeah, and one of the really cool things about the SCL, the Spy Party Competitive League, is that you get to see a whole different level of gameplay, right? You have people who have just a couple games, you have people that have tens of thousands of games, which is a huge step, but it's cool because it's a competitive league where like pretty much anyone can fit in and play competitively, which I find enjoyable.
Yeah, and so these players have a little bit of history here as well. Manatters has actually been playing Spy Party competitively for years. He was in the very first SCL season that ever happened. Then he was away for a few years, and so he started back up at the bottom division of Oak last year, and now he's moved up a few, and he's in Copper. He is a very, very strong player. Meanwhile, JD played last season in Obsidian, which was the second lowest division, placed second in that division, and just had a really, really strong showing, including in a playoffs tournament that happened after the season as well. They held their own against some pretty good players. I would say going into this match, JD is definitely the underdog here. Manatters has a lot of competitive experience and is just a very strong player, and so far has not lost a match this season. Whereas JD is going into this with 2 wins under his belt, but 1 loss.
Yeah, and the fun thing about Spy Party is it is a 1v1 sort of situation. So these players, I don't think they have much experience playing each other. So you know what? Hey, they might have won against somebody else, but when it comes to this situation, it's Monatters versus JD. And so, hey, who knows what the outcome's going to be?
All right, so we're going to get into the game here and we're going to start explaining exactly how everything works. Before that, we are going to take a look at the draft that the two players have done. Before you go into any match, you get to pick which maps you want to play on. Note in this game, we refer to maps as venues because they are party venues, of course.
Yeah, naturally. And you'll see that they get to pick two different venues. They get to ban a venue which can't be played at all, and they get to restrict a venue. Now, the difference between the restrict and the ban is that if you look at the picks, you get a chance to double a venue, which means you get to play it two times. The second pick is a single pick, which you play only one time. On the other side of that, the restrict cannot be doubled. So a little confusing, but it's a really nice thing to have introduced into this season.
All right. So we're going to gloss over the exact intricacies of the picks and bans that these players have done, since we are assuming you're not familiar with all of these maps and the different strengths and weaknesses that would be involved in each. But suffice to say, both players have done the best they can to give themselves a home court advantage on the maps that they have chosen for themselves. Let's get into the game screen here and take a look at the first venue that was doubled by JD. This is high rise. And let's just take a look at what's going on here before we get started with the game. What are we looking at here, T Flame?
All right, right now we're looking at JD is starting as the spy. Now, the spy's whole goal here is to complete missions without the sniper shooting him. And if we look around at the party, you'll see that there's other characters here, but the main difference between JD and the other characters is that he is not an AI. He is not a robot, or at least we don't think he's a robot. So JD here is trying to complete missions without the sniper finding out which one is him.
Yeah, and so all of these other people that you see here, they are AI. It is like The Sims. This is a party. It's a nice party taking place in this high rise apartment. And all of these guests, as soon as we press go and start the game, they are just going to go about their lives. They are going to hang around in conversation. They are going to walk over to the bookshelves, read a book. They're going to take drinks from the waiter. They're just going to live their lives. Meanwhile, JD is going to pretend to be one of them while secretly doing spy missions. So let's get this started in 3, 2, 1. play in it. And look at this from the sniper's point of view. The sniper is outside the party. They are watching it and they want to figure out which one of these guests is not an AI, but a human.
Yeah, and so the sniper has a totally different thing to do here. They're not trying to necessarily complete different things, but their one goal is to find the one person that is not an AI.
And look at what JD is doing right now. He has just walked over to a bookshelf. He has taken a book out and he is walking into this conversation with a book. This has absolutely no purpose. He is not doing any spy missions right now. He's just trying to blend in and look like everyone else.
Yeah, and in this conversation, if you look, there is one person next to us that has a triangle over their head. Now, you can tell that certain people, ooh, and now it looks like we're going to do our very first spy mission of the game.
Yeah, so over here, look at this. The person next to us, they have a red arrow above their head and it says seduction target. This is one of our missions. We need to seduce this woman in the green dress. And the way we do that is by standing next to her in conversation and talking to her. And we are going to have to do that multiple times over the next 2 minutes in order to complete the mission known as seduce target.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, as many of us knows, if you're trying to have a relationship with someone, you got to talk, you got to have a conversation, and a lot of times you have to talk to them more than one time, right? And so for our seduction target, that is the case. So we'll have to get nice and cozy up to them multiple times in this game.
Yeah, and we can definitely expect to see that from JD. He is going to return and stand right next to that seduction target again, the
Ooh.
woman in the green dress. And you see this, he waits a few moments and then he immediately starts talking to flirt again. He's flirted with her twice now. He's going to have to flirt with her one more time, and that will count as a mission completion.
Yes, and talking about mission completions, if you look at the top left here, the very top left
Banana
image, it
bread.
says, complete 3 of 5 missions. And oh, just like that, we complete our second mission.
Yeah, look at this other person with the arrow above their head in conversation, the Asian woman here. She has double agent over her head, and one of our missions is to contact the double agent, which we did by standing in the conversation with her and saying the code word banana bread. And just like that, we've completed another mission. Now, what was that like from the sniper's point of view?
Yeah, from the sniper's point of view, they're kind of looking around to see, who could maybe, be in the conversation and, looking to see who's in conversation or who's not in conversation.
Yeah, because the sniper hears the word banana bread. They know that means that someone was just contacting that double agent. And logically, the only people who could do that are people who are in conversation with the double agent. So, just like that, look at the top left mission progress now. We have contacted the double agent. We've also finished seducing our target. That's 2 missions. We need one more, and we're trying it and we're failing
Oh.
it. And we're getting shot for it. Oh my god, that happened all very, very quickly. So let's just go back and take a look at the replay and see what happened there at the end. Because we were trying to do a third mission. This one is called Bug the Ambassador. T-Flame, can you walk us through what happened there?
Yes, and so Bug the ambassador, if you look, it's the ambassador is the person with the purple triangle over their head. And they have an interesting mission with them where your character has to be right next to them and not necessarily touch their butt, but reach out your hand and plant a bug on the ambassador. Now, JD went for this, and unfortunately, it didn't work because he was too far away from the ambassador. And so, what we tried to do and finish there, it just didn't really work out. And so, the sniper sees that happening and takes a correct shot.
Yeah, you really want your arm to make as much contact with that ambassador as possible to place the bug on them. But JD just didn't really have a lot of time to do it properly. He had 3.5 minutes to complete his missions, and he spent so much time flirting that it was really hard to get those missions done. And so in the last 10 seconds, he just said, wherever this ambassador is, I'm just going to walk right up to them and plant a bug on them. And the location that the ambassador was right at this front window, fully in view of the sniper. And so that's how the sniper is able to know who the spy is. They literally can see the spy doing a mission right in front of their eyes. And that proves that it's the spy, not an AI.
Yeah, and so we get a correct shot there, and so that means Monopoly Man goes up 1-0.
Do you mean Manators?
Yeah, Monators, not Monopoly Man. Monopoly Man is another man.
All right. Yep, that's the first point for Manators here. And so now we move on to the next game. Spy Party is an asymmetrical game. In other words, there are two roles, there is the spy and the sniper. So we just saw Manators playing the sniper here on High Rise, and now Manators gets to play a spy game on High Rise of his own. This time we are playing as the woman in the green dress. That's who the seduction target was last time, but this time she's the spy. In three, two, one, playing it.
Yeah, and that's kind of the nice thing is that you get to play both sides. You get to be the sniper, you get to be the spy, and so it kind of just makes everything kind of equal and fair. And again, here we are, kind of stepping into a convo, trying to act as normal as possible.
Yep, and you can see the arrow is over the queen here. She has the double agent title above her head. So you remember from last game, we need to say the code word banana bread in conversation with the double agent to complete a mission. So Manators is thinking right now, do I want to say that banana bread right now, or do I want to do it later? Looks like he decides later. He changes conversations to the one with the seduction target, the man with the cane here. And it looks like we're going to start with the flirt instead.
Yeah, and if you
Banana
kind of want
bread.
to know where maybe a lot of the missions are, and oh, we decide to use the code word, but we're not in the conversation with the double agent, so it does not count as a mission complete.
Very interesting. I mean, that's sort of a mind game that you can play with the sniper, right? Because the sniper thinks whoever is saying the code word must be someone in conversation with the double agent. So if you say the code word when you're not in conversation with the double agent, it can throw them off. They think you must not be the spy.
Yeah, and it's kind of like a mind game maybe that Monatters is going there for. But here we go. Oh, look, our seduction target is coming right to us actually, and we get our second flare of the game.
That's nice. So we flirted with the seduction target twice. We're going to hopefully need to do it just one more time to finish seducing them. But it looks like Manators isn't going to wait around and flirt. He wants to get mission progress done. We have the ambassador here entering right next to us. As the ambassador enters, see, we reached our arm out again. We tried to plant a bug on them. It didn't work, so we walk away behind them. And as we're walking away behind the ambassador, we plant the bug. But the sniper sees it. The sniper takes the shot.
Yeah, and we see that Monatters gets shot for the same thing we saw JD. We know JD also went for a bug, and JD's didn't land at first, and neither did Monatters. But Monatters went for two bugs, and the second one was successful. But both players get shot for a bug in their first spy games.
Yeah, and remember, the sniper knows what missions the spy is trying to do, and the sniper does see this purple arrow over the ambassador's head. So if the sniper is playing well, they are going to be keeping their eyes on the ambassador at all times. And if they see someone getting suspiciously close to the ambassador and they see that person's arm come out, boom, you know the spy. And that's exactly what both snipers were able to do in these two games. We're moving on to the third game now. The score is tied up 1-1. The snipers both took the correct shot. And JD has another chance to spy here, playing as Leopard in three, two, one, playing it.
Yeah, and so we're gonna have to see if either of these players can kind of try to shake off the sniper a little bit, kind of try to change things up to try to get a win on spy. Because both the snipers are looking pretty strong right now.
Yeah, and so it is worth noting the sniper does not know who your seduction target is. So it's not very suspicious for you to just stand in a conversation and talk to someone. All of these guests are doing it. The thing that makes you stand out is if they literally see your arm stick out for a bug. And I'm worried it's going to happen again. We're here right next to the ambassador. JD might try the bug. Doesn't happen though. Instead, JD is just standing here, getting the flirt with the general
Banana
over
bread.
here and saying the banana bread.
And there we go. That's good mission progress. We got the contact the double agent done. We have the flirt done. And if you look at the rest of the party, you can tell, this is going back to the bug. a lot of people talk, a lot of people have conversations, and oh, we go
Oh,
for a bug again. Oh.
again, this is the same thing 3 times in a row.
And if you're watching this game, you might think that bug is the worst mission ever. And it can be. The hard part about a bug is that the other guests in the party, they won't stick out their arm that way, right? So if you see that, it shows that that mission is being done and you have to be the spy. But if you get away with it, it's also really nice.
Yeah, and like we saw the same bug here twice. This is a spot that spies love to bug in. They love it when the ambassador is standing in this conversation and you can just leave and walk by them and reach your arm out. But both times the snipers have seen it. And so that's a score now 2-1 for Monaters. Snipers have won every game. They have shot for a bug every game. Let's see if we're going to get something different here. We're moving on to the final game on High Rise. Monaters playing as the woman in the green dress, also known as Irish, in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, and so far this match, we haven't had either of our I was gonna say contestants, but competitive players here, get to 3 missions. And so as the spy, that's what you really want to do. And so I don't know if this is showing more of like a spy weakness or a sniper strength. But at the start of this game, it looks like our seduction target is gonna come right up to us.
Yep, you love it when that happens. You don't have to chase them down. They walk up to you, you start flirting. And you can actually see the bar at the top left. It marks our flirt progress from 0 to 100. Now, normally when you flirt with them, you get 33%, so you have to do it 3 times. But there are action tests, and we hit a good action test, so we got the flirt all the way up to 51%.
Yeah, and an action test is basically when you start the flirt, there's like a little bar on the bottom of your
Oh,
screen.
wait,
And do we go
they
for
did it
another bug?
again! They did the same bug again!
But it looks like I think this is the first time we're not getting shot for that bug.
Wow, we successfully got that bug. The ambassador was in the same spot. We left the conversation. We reach our arm out while we're walking behind them. The hand touches the ambassador. The bug is placed, and we have that mission done. And here we are. We're going for another mission that we haven't seen so far. We've picked up the ambassador's briefcase in order to get one of his fingerprints.
Yeah, and so what you'll notice is if you even look at the ambassador right now, the ambassador is holding a book. When he holds a book and places it back, he's leaving a fingerprint. When he sets down his briefcase, he's leaving a fingerprint. And when he walks up to the statue and leaves the statue, he's setting down another fingerprint, basically.
Yeah, we've got 1 fingerprint, and in order to complete the mission, we need 1 more. Now, something huge has happened. You may have noticed that our spy, Mrs. Greendress, is darker than everyone else now. So this is a system called highlighting and lowlighting. The sniper highlights characters that they think are suspicious, and they lowlight characters that they have decided are not the spy. So for whatever reason, JD has decided that the green dress woman is not suspicious. He's given us a low light.
Yeah, and if you want to look at what maybe a highlight would look like, you can look at the other character in our conversation there has a highlight around them, and it looks drastically different, and this can help the sniper to kind of tell what's happening in the venue.
Well, it's good news that we're low lit. It means that the sniper is almost certainly not going to shoot us. But remember, there is a timer. It's at the top right. There are 40 seconds left. We have finished Seduce Target. We have finished Bug Ambassador. We need to finish Fingerprint Ambassador by getting 1 more fingerprint. Now, we know the Ambassador was leaving fingerprints on that bookcase. We know the Ambassador was leaving fingerprints on the statue. We need to go get one of them, but it looks like we're too scared to. We think that we're going to get shot since the sniper would know that we have 2 fingerprints. We don't realize that we're not on the sniper's radar at all. And so it looks like we might just time out. If we don't get 3 missions done by the time the timer runs out, the spy loses.
Yeah, there's more than one way to lose. You don't just lose by shooting. You're losing by not finishing your missions in time. And ooh, something that was about to happen that we haven't seen yet as well. But if you ever feel like you are low on time or running out of time, the spy can go up to a window and they can check their watch and they can add 45 seconds to the clock.
Yeah, that's what Manators was trying to do. He realized he was running out of time, so he tried to add 45 seconds, but he didn't make it to the window in time. The timer is a harsh mistress.
That's one way to put it.
And so with that, even though JD low lit the spy, had no idea who they were, did not shoot them, JD still gets a win because if the spy does not complete their missions in time, that's a point for the sniper. The sniper wins either by shooting the spy or if the spy doesn't finish their missions. Meanwhile, the spy wins if they finish missions. The spy can also win if the sniper shoots a civilian incorrectly.
Yeah, and so if we just look at these first four games here, it looks like both snipers are playing pretty well, I'd say.
Yeah, in three of the cases, the sniper was able to shoot for the bug. It was only in the fourth one that they missed it. But they also correctly knew that no one in that party was finishing missions, so they just didn't shoot anyone, and it was correct. And with that, we are at the end of High Rise. High Rise was a doubled pick, which means it was played four times. And we have one more doubled pick now. We're moving on to the map that Manators chose. This is the gallery. And before we get started, I want to clarify one thing. Gallery, as you can see, is much bigger than High Rise. It is a very, very long venue with a lot of depth. There's an outdoor area, there's an indoor area, and there's a lot more guests at this party. So, in order to keep things fair, this time the spy doesn't have to do just three missions, they have to do four missions. T Flame, do you have anything to add, or do you want to just get started?
Yeah, and I was just gonna say that's just the way of balancing things out. Because if three missions would be a little bit easier to do with so much space and so many more different characters in the party, and so it's just a way of balancing things out to make the sniper and spy side fair.
All right. We have JD here playing as the woman in the red dress. Let's get started in three, two, one, playing it.
Yeah, and so although we have to complete one more mission, we're gonna be looking to do a lot of the same things that we did last time. And as I was saying, we're right next to our seduction target, getting our very first flirt in.
Yep, we're just standing here by the paintings next to them, and while we are looking at those paintings, we just right click to flirt, and there we go. You can see it in the top left. The bar went up to 34%. We're going to want to do that next to the seduction target two more times. Here's another mission that we already saw before. We're picking up this briefcase. It's the ambassador's briefcase. It has a fingerprint on it. And just basically, once you pick up the briefcase, since it belongs to the ambassador, your job, if you want to look like an AI, is to return it to the ambassador if possible.
Yep, and so we tried to bring it back, and it seemed like the Ambo didn't really want it, so we set it back down. We'll let somebody else bring it back, and we walk in to get our second flirt, it looks like. And one thing I wanted to kind of bring up about the flirt is if you noticed earlier, we weren't flirting in one of these, kind of conversation circles is what we call them. They didn't flirt here. They decided to flirt at one of the kind of pads on the side of the venue. And so that's one of the cool things about flirt is, you don't have to just do it in one spot. There's plenty of different options and spaces to flirt.
Well, I think that's what we all love about flirting. So look at
Mm,
the ambassador. They're over there
mm.
putting their hands on that statue. That's another place that we could get a fingerprint. We also do have a mission called Inspect Statues. As you can imagine, you would do that by picking up the statue and looking at it. That's a common thing that spies like to do, so we might see JD go for that.
Yeah, and we're kind of walking by one, and yeah, great call. We are going up into the statue. We have to finish our drink. We don't want to drop the statue. We can't have one in hand, and so we're gonna pick it up, and we are going to inspect it.
Yep, and so the ambassador touched this statue as well, which means we are getting a fingerprint off of the statue, and we are getting progress towards the Inspect Statues mission. In order to complete that mission, we are going to have to go over to the other statues and inspect those as well. And you can see this time, we picked up a highlight. So why did we pick up a highlight for that?
Yeah, and so again, we were talking about earlier, a highlight is somebody that's kind of maybe doing something, or the sniper is a bit more suspicious. And so what they're doing, the sniper is kind of just using that to say, hey, I saw you at statues, I saw you completing missions, and now you're a little bit more suspicious to me.
Yeah, but of course, the guests can also pick up statues. So you don't know if someone's picking up a statue if they are the spy or a guest. Now, here's another mission. The waiter is offering us a drink. We're doing a mission called Purloin Guest List. You can see on the tray there is this little white slip of paper. That is the guest list. And because we did the Purloin mission, that guest list just disappeared. We stole it.
Yes, and so the sniper, when they look from their angle, that you can see a little bit on the tray, and so they're trying to see, who's taken the guest list, or who could have taken the guest list, and just like that, it's an entire mission done.
We have 3 missions done now. We got 2 fingerprints, that's a mission. We stole the guest list, that's a mission. We seduced our seduction target, that's a mission. And we inspected 2 statues earlier. We need to inspect 1 more statue now, and if we get away with it, that's 4 missions. We win. This is it, the mission win countdown. The sniper has 10 seconds to take a shot on us. We have 4 missions done. They're not doing it. And with that, we see our first spy win of the night. 4 missions done for JD, no bullet.
Yes, and nothing really gets your blood pumping a little bit more than when you see that 10-second countdown. Now, once you complete all 4 missions, a 10-second countdown timer starts that gives kind of the sniper a chance to take a shot. And so we saw right there that 10 seconds happened and the shot didn't come off, and we see our very first spy win.
Very, very nicely done from JD. The sniper had no idea they took the guest list. And even though we touched things with fingerprints, we picked up statues, the sniper just didn't have enough evidence to shoot us. And so for the first time, we have a spy win, and that means JD is now up 3-2. We're going to head into our second gallery game here with monaters playing as the queen, starting in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, and this might be a good chance for monaters to kind of, maybe warmed up a little bit on the last venue, and we saw JD, win a spy game. So maybe monaters here can win a spy game as well.
Yep, and so you might be noticing a trend in a lot of these games. The first thing the spy does is go and stand next to the seduction target. Here we are with our seduction target, one of the 2 twins here at the bookcase. We are getting some flirting in. Now, flirting is just the easiest mission to do. There is no obvious tell for the sniper. They can't look at you and say, oh, you're flirting. You're just standing next to them. People stand next to each other all the time. It's totally different than, for example, if you bug the ambassador and they see your arm stick out. It's totally different than if you steal the guest list and they literally see it disappear in front of their eyes. So it's just easier to get something like the flirt done.
Yeah, and I was going to say that you mentioned the word tell there, and that's something that we kind of use in the spy party community. It's a difference between a hard tell and a soft tell, if you want to kind of maybe explain that.
Yeah, so the flirt is what we would call a soft tell. The bug is what we would call a hard tell because it's very visible. It's right there. If you see it, you know they are the spy. But look at these other missions that we did. The flirt, you don't know for sure that they're flirting. Anyone can stand next to each other and talk. Inspecting statues, I mean, there's guests picking up the statues all the time. Cowboy is doing it right now. He's not the spy. The sniper can't know if you have a statue in your hand, if you are the spy inspecting it or just an AI. Same thing with the fingerprints. Anyone can pick up something that the ambassador touched.
Yes, and as we were talking there, we actually went for a bug while we were walking, and as we were saying, that's a hard tell. That's one of those things that if the sniper sees it, it's something they can shoot for. And so, thankfully, Monatter's not shot for a bug this time, and we go and pick up a statue.
Yep, and we're picking up a highlight for it as well. JD has the same philosophy that Monaters has as sniper. He knows that anyone who picks up statues could be the spy inspecting them, and so he highlights anyone who does it.
Yep, and again, it's just one of those things, whether maybe it's helping remember who's done that, but a lot of times it's just to add, hey, this person's suspicious, and right here, it looks like we could finish our flirt and finish our first mission.
Ooh, yeah, and as the ambassador walked by us, we stuck out our arm and planted the bug as they were walking by.
Yeah, and so this is really cool about this venue. Again, if you look at the sniper side, the sniper can only look through one way of this party. And so you'll see that monaters actually used the arm that was away from the sniper to kind of hide their own arm. And so really well done by monaters. And look at this, not shot for bug.
We saw a lot of shots for Bug, but it looks like Manatters has figured out how to do it a little more stealthily this time. Like you said, the arm was just not visible to the sniper at
Banana
all.
bread.
We enter this conversation here outside. We have the double agent with us, and we say banana bread. And so look over at the sniper side here. We touched on this earlier. In order to say the code word banana bread to the double agent, you must be in conversation. In other words, if someone is not in conversation when you hear banana bread, they cannot be the spy. And so the sniper took lowlights on anyone not in conversation. Here we are picking up statues again. We're finishing inspecting them, but unlike last game, the sniper takes a shot.
Wow, and JD is keeping on this tear. That is 3 sniper wins in a row, and Monaders looked good that game. But JD had that suspicion, had that highlight on, and said, "Hey, I think someone might be finishing right now. I need to take that shot."
Yeah, that's a very impressive shot from JD, honestly, because that bug of the ambassador, it was very hard to see. I don't even know if JD could have seen it at all. JD was basically taking this shot because he knew that Queen had touched the statues twice, could have the inspect statues mission done. He knew that she was in conversation with the double agent, so she could have said banana bread. And he assumed that, with 3 minutes past, that she would have had enough time to stand next to a seduction target and talk to them. And so that was enough to take a shot. Very well done to JD. JD now has a lead of 4-2. It's going to be
Wow.
pretty hard for Manatters to climb back from that. This is a 1st to 7 match.
Yeah, and with it being 1st to 7, that's a lot of momentum. 2 games, that's a lot of momentum for JD, and so Monaders has a lot of work to do here.
All right, let's get started with our next game. We have JD playing as the spy. This character is known as Boots because she's wearing boots. She's also known as Buns because her hair is in a bun. This is Spy Party. This is how we name people. Let's get started in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, you can really tell some of the most creative minds, they're in the Spy Party community as we come up with, the best names, some of the best names possible. And here we are, and we're doing nothing, but nothing isn't always bad. A lot of times, the AIs don't do anything, so maybe we should just chill out and relax a little bit. And as I say that, we get our first flirt of the night.
Nice, and we hit the good action test, so we got the flirt bar up to 51%. Because think about it, if you just hit a normal action test, you get 33%, you have to flirt 3 times. But if you hit the good action test, 50% times 2, you only have to flirt with them twice. Saves you a lot of time.
Absolutely. And we're in a conversation with our seduction target.
Banana
We're
bread.
also in a conversation with the double agent. So it says, hey, this is a good time to say banana bread. It's early on in the party. Let's get that done and out of the way.
Yeah, and you can start seeing the strategy here. Look at that conversation in the back. That conversation is full of people. It's jam-packed. The one in front here also was full of people. So you don't want to give the sniper any lowlights. You want as many people to be in conversation as possible so that there's the greatest number of people who could have said banana bread.
Yeah, and banana bread is probably one of the easier missions, but it also can be, I guess, the most punishing. Because as you said, you can pretty much low light anybody that's not in a conversation. So a good banana bread is a great start for JD.
Yeah. Meanwhile, JD's probably going to want to finish the seduction now. We can see JD walking outside. We're passing the ambassador, but no, we're not going to stick our arm out and bug them. As we're walking outside, the seduction target moves back inside, so we just stop and turn around and follow them back.
Now, that's what I call dedicated. And so we enter this pad here, and oh no, our seduction target is not having it. Our seduction ran away once again.
Oh, well, here we go. We're going to be standing here. We're watching the ambassador pass by us, and we take the bug as they do. This time, though, it's seen, and JD gets shot.
Yeah, and we got to see, JD kind of went for the same thing, trying to do the bug in a spot where maybe it's not going to be seen, but JD doesn't get away with it, and we have a sniper win for monaters.
Yeah, you can just see here from the sniper view, even though the arm that we use to bug the ambassador is the one away from the sniper, it's still very visible. You can see it snap out, you can see it snap back. That's the hard tell. That's the animation that the sniper is looking for, and that's why they're keeping their eyes on the ambassador at all times. Manaters showing us strong sniper game and gets another point. It is now 4-3 for JD. And we've got one more game of gallery left. Manatter is going to hope to get a spy win here as well, bring it back to 4-4. We are playing as Sick in 3-2-1, playing it.
Yeah, and this would just be a really good chance. Going down 4-2, that can be kind of scary. And so Monaters, if they can bring it back to 4-4, that actually kind of puts the momentum in Monaters' favor. And so we'll get to see what happens here on the spy side.
Well, we're seeing what happens. We are standing next to our seduction target at a painting and flirting with them. I think this is how every game of gallery has started. Oh, walking by the ambassador again, but again, wisely choosing not to stick their arm out for that bug. It would have been seen.
Yeah, and both of these snipers have done a really good job at seeing a lot of these bugs. I think we've only really had about one bug get past that wasn't shot for. And like we saw JD last game, we're kind of trying to get our seduction done as soon as possible.
Yeah, I mean, we have about 4 minutes on this venue, but it can be surprisingly difficult to do 4 missions in 4 minutes. You wouldn't think so, but when you consider that in order to flirt, you need to do it 3 times, you also need to space them out. The game doesn't allow you to just flirt twice immediately. You need to wait about 45 seconds between each one, or, you need to walk away from them and come back. It takes time.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's just something, it's different than other ones where, a bug, once you do it, you do it. Once you contact, it's done. For the seduction, you have to do it a couple times. So it's just a good thing to do early on.
Yep. Speaking of pacing, here we go. We're getting our first fingerprint from the briefcase. We are going to need to touch one other thing that the ambassador touches in order to get the other one. We try to go out to that conversation in front, but it is full, so we stop and turn around. That's what the AI do. If they go for a conversation and realize that they can't fit in, they just stop and turn around. So we look very AI-like there. Here we are standing right next to
Banana
the
bread.
ambassador here. We're going to say banana bread, and while the sniper is moving their laser around to low-light people not in conversation, we bug the ambassador.
Now, you might be thinking, you see the low lights are coming off on people in the conversation, and the reason why that might have happened is there wasn't a double agent in our conversation. So why would somebody do it? But as I'm saying that, some of the low lights are becoming neutral lights again, and Monators gets a free bug.
A free bug and a free purloin. We said the banana bread,
Oh,
and while the sniper was distracted, we bugged the ambassador. Then the waiter came behind us and offered us a drink, so we took the drink while also stealing the guest list. That means we used the banana bread as a distraction to do 2 hard tells. If the sniper had seen either of those, if they had seen our arm go out, if they had seen that piece of paper on the drink tray disappear, they would have known for sure that we're the spy. But they didn't see it because they heard banana bread and they were off doing other things.
yeah, and that's a really a fun thing to do is when you say banana bread, you kind of know what the sniper's going to do, so it gives you a chance to do those hard tells like the bug, like the purloin that a lot of times you could get shot for.
Yeah, because like we've been saying,
Banana bread.
the sniper is going to keep their eyes on the ambassador the whole time. Oh, there's the banana bread. This one is for real. We have the double agent with us. That's our 4th mission. JD didn't see the bug, didn't see the purloin, has no reason to suspect us, and we get away with it.
Wow, and so we got to see both players win 2 games in a row, and JD being up 4-2 is now back to 4-4, and this is a very tight match.
Yeah, this is very close. This is what I expected going in. Manatters is just a really strong player, but so is JD. I'm not at all surprised to see them
Banana
tied. And we've
bread.
just seen some very strong sniper plays from both of them. We saw them being able to catch bugs really reliably on high rise, but then we see these beautiful spy plays here. Using one mission as a distraction for 2 other missions. This is advanced play.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, I think we have, we're ready for our next venue, which I think needs a little bit of an explanation.
Yeah, let's take a look here. This is a single pick. So we had two double picks. In other words, venues that we played four times each. And now we're going to be rounding it out with two venues that we're only going to be playing twice. One game as spy, one game as sniper. And this one over here is known as Redwoods. And so from the spy side, it is just a nice cabin in the woods. But if we look here at the sniper side, it is not so nice of a cabin in the woods. It is very, very hard for the sniper to see things with all of these trees in the way.
Yeah, and although this is a beginner cast, I think it's important to know that there's other venues, there's other parties that they have, obstacles in the way of seeing something. And so the sniper, you're not always going to have a clear view of what's going on. So it's just good for the sniper to be able to rotate and see different things. And it all depends on the venue.
Well, we're going to see how it plays out here. We have JD playing as Orange Sorry, starting in three, two, one, playing it. Now, it's worth noting that on this venue, if you want to inspect the statues, you can do it by either picking up a statue or you can do it by standing at the little bookshelf between the statues.
Yes, and this is the only venue that has that option, but it's a nice little option for the spy here. The sniper has all those books, or all those, not books, those trees, and the spy also has, another play of action to do the inspects. But here, it looks like we're doing what we've done the whole entire match so far, just starting off with a nice flirt.
Yep. As we've said the whole night, flirting is just the easiest mission to get done. Spies are always going to do it. They have to do four missions, and the flirt is almost always going to be one of them. And so is contacting the double agent. You just saw it. Like, we've never seen a spy get shot for flirting. We've never seen a spy get shot for contacting the double agent. The spies that we've seen shot, it's because they did a hard tell. They put their arm out on screen and got themselves shot. So the more missions that you can do that don't have any visible tell for the sniper, the better. The flirt, the contact, inspecting the statues, getting the fingerprints, all of those.
Absolutely. And something different, and maybe we've noticed it, but we don't have Toby walking around offering people drinks.
Yeah, that's right. Toby is over there behind the bar this time. So if you want to steal the guest list, you have to go and take it from the bar. Here we go. We're picking up an inspect on this statue,
Ooh.
and we're seeing another mission that we haven't seen. This one is called Swap Statue. Now, we hit a very good action test on this, which means that Boots, Buns, she's about to go pick up the statue now. And when she does, it's going to swap to a different statue. The sniper knows that one of the people who was at that statue just swapped it from a bird to a head.
Yeah, and so that's another one of those things. That's a hard tell right there because you know what? Unless the spy was at that statue, it would have just swapped by itself, and so that helps the sniper to kind of eye down who the spy might be.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we're seeing. Look at this party. Everyone in the party has been low lit except for the two people who went to that statue. The sniper knows that statue was swapped. They could see it plain as day. It was a bird, now it's a head. They know that the person who swapped it is either Orange Sorry or Boots.
Yeah, and that's going to make it really hard because now the sniper really just has to focus on two people. And JD still, they've got the swap done, they've got the seduce done, but they still have two missions to finish here.
Yep. So one of those missions that we might be going for is stealing the guest list. We went to the bar, we took a drink. That gives us the option to send
Banana bread.
someone to go take the guest list for us. Ooh! We said banana bread. We were talking about action tests earlier, how the flirt has a normal action test and a good action test. We didn't mention this, but there is a way to fail your action test and fail at whatever mission you were doing. So in this case, we did the action test to say banana bread, and we failed at it, which means that our character was noticeably seen coughing.
Banana bread.
Yeah, and failing at different missions, it has different things, but when you fail
Banana
a
bread.
contact, you end up coughing, and it's just another tell for the sniper to pick up on.
Yeah, and I mean, that was just adding insult to injury here. The sniper already had this party narrowed down to only two suspects because they saw that the statue had swapped. So they were just extra going to be watching us, and it was just very easy for them to see us coughing.
Yep, and so that's a well played match from the sniper side through all the trees, mind you. And so, well done.
Yep, that's a point for Manators here. I mean, good job seeing that statue changed. I mean, look at the sniper view. There's so many trees. It would be very understandable if a sniper just did not notice that statue for a long time because they were watching other things. But Manators was on top of it. That's why he's got a lead again now, 5-4. He really brought it back. That's 3 wins in a
Yeah.
row. Manators going to be spying now as Ponytail in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, and all of a sudden we have Manators with a lot of momentum on their side here, and I would say this is a good venue to get a spy win on. We see the trees on the other side. We see that it's very difficult for the sniper, so this could easily become a 6-4 match if Manators can play it well.
Yeah, and look at that. The seduction target, Smallman, he just walked right over to our conversation, so we are flirting with him. This might be a good time to mention. Look at the flirt bar. It's at 23%. Now, we were saying earlier that flirting normally gives you 33%, but it is proximity based, and since we're not right next to him in the conversation, the flirt percent goes up a little bit lower, which, we're not happy about, but considering he came to us, we'll take it.
Yeah, it's basically, a free flirt. And the way that they can play in the game is that you want to be close to your seduction target, so you have to do it the least amount of times possible. So let's say right now, if we did, we'd have to do what, 3 more flirts that way if we weren't close enough. And so it's just something to think about on the spy side.
Yeah, and I'm wondering what Manater's game plan is because we've talked about the timer. This venue starts with 3.5 minutes to get 4 missions done. But at this point, it's been a minute and a
Oh,
half,
wow.
and the only thing we've done is 23% of the flirt. Pacing is really important. Do you think we're going to be able to finish all 4 missions?
If it was any other place, I would say no. But there's lots of options here, and I think Monators. We saw some struggles earlier on the spy side, but I think Monators is gonna be able to do something here, or maybe even try to get somebody else shot in the
Banana
party.
bread.
Ooh, there's the double agent. The double agent entered our conversation. We said banana bread, and then we immediately left the conversation. We want it to look like we weren't in conversation. We want the sniper to lowlight us because they think that we could not have said banana bread.
Yeah, and again, this just shows the creative minds of Spy Party. We like to call that a banana split because they split from the convo.
Unfortunately, it didn't work. The sniper didn't give us a low light. They couldn't be sure who was in conversation or not when banana bread was said. They played it safe. We did not get the low light. But we did pick up a fingerprint from that bookshelf. The ambassador had been there, so there was a fingerprint on it. We're entering here next to Smallman, the seduction target. We're getting another flirt. We try to bug the ambassador as well, but we're not close enough, so it doesn't work.
Yeah, and that could have been ugly. And I kind of want to look at the mission tier, and you can see we only have 1 mission done, but there's a little bit more to it. We're almost done with Seduce. We only need 1 more fingerprint, and so things aren't looking too bad. And just like that, I believe we get our second fingerprint from a drink.
Yeah, the ambassador had been to the bar, and therefore there was a fingerprint available there. On top of that, we've been talking about purloining the guest list. The way it works when there's a bar is you go to the bar, and then you stand in conversation, and whoever is next to you, you can send them to go steal the list for you. That's exactly what we've done. We have sent this twin. This twin is one of the suspected double agents. Which means the sniper knows they're not the spy. We have sent them to take the list for us, and that's exactly what's about to happen. The clock is hanging at 0. The sniper has 10 seconds to take a shot on whoever they think could have done it, and they
Oh,
shoot a civilian.
yeah, and this Salmon, that's what we call him Salmon. Salmon gets shot just because he was at a statue, right? He was looking a bit more suspicious. You hear those beeps when it goes into the timer. It gets a lot faster into overtime, and so you kind of have to shoot somebody at the end there.
Yeah, let's just clarify that because a lot happened at once there.
Yes.
But basically, the way the game works is the sniper always has 10 seconds to shoot the spy after they've done their final mission. We saw that earlier. We saw the 10-second countdown come up on screen in the other times when the spy did 4 missions. However, if the spy finishes their last mission when the clock is at like 1 second left, it would be unfair for the sniper if we said, oh, you only have 1 second to shoot. You have to shoot before zero. So in that case, it goes into overtime, and the sniper is given 10 seconds to shoot anyway. That's what happened there. The guest list was stolen when the clock was at zero, so the sniper had 10 seconds.
Yep, and so it ends up being a wrong shot, but at least they shot somebody. There's plenty of times where we see, maybe somebody doesn't end up getting shot, even if those beeps happen. So, made the most out of nothing. But Monaters on the other side, up 6-4 now.
Yeah, that's 4 games in a row. We said this was a first to seven. However, there are 12 games played, and it can end in a 6-6. If it ends in a 6-6, that would be a tie. And both players would be awarded just 1 point in the competitive league rankings. If they win, they get 2 points. Let's
Yep.
head on to our final venue now. This is Courtyard. And what makes Courtyard distinct is that it is a totally circular, symmetrical venue where the sniper is able to move their laser around to see things from all four sides. We have JD playing as the queen, getting started in three, two, one, playing it.
Yeah, and I think that's really one of the fun things about Spy Party is that, you can play one thing a certain way, but then on a different venue, a totally different way of playing it. And so for this one, the sniper has to rotate all the way around. On gallery, they just basically looked and did we just go for a bug?
Yeah, we tried to bug the ambassador while we were leaving the conversation and walking by them, but it just didn't take. If you want your bug to take, you have to make sure that your arm makes good contact with the ambassador. So if you try it while you're moving past them, your arm just doesn't reach, basically. We entered this conversation here. We had the double agent with us, but they left, so we were not able to say banana bread for the contact. We do have the waiter walking around. It is a possibility that we will try and steal the guest list if the waiter offers us a drink.
Yeah, and right now it's been almost a minute and we have no mission progress. So that means JD is really going to have to pick it up on kind of the second half of the spy game.
Yeah, JD really wants to get near that seduction target and starts flirting, but the waiter is offering us the drink, and we do purloin the guest list. Now we hit a really good action test on this one, which means that instead of the list disappearing immediately, it means that the list is going to disappear the next time someone takes a drink, and the sniper will have to remember that the waiter did offer to us recently.
Yep, and again, that's a hard tell. And so a hard tell means the spy had to be involved in it. So if we see the guest list go here on the sniper side, we should be able to tell which couple people could have done it. And there it goes.
Yeah, the sniper is in a real bind here. They've just noticed that that list disappeared. They know that the person who made it disappear must be one of the people that the waiter offered to recently, but they don't know which one it is. Now, if we had hit the normal action test, the white action test, the list would have just disappeared the moment the waiter was behind us. But because we hit the good action test, the green one, we just had really good timing on it. It means that now there are many, many suspects.
Yup, and that's kind of the nice side of that is, we're not sure exactly where it came from because it could have just been us. But with the green, it's a couple more people, which means we are not shot yet.
Banana bread.
But we are a highlight. We are a suspect. Monaters has narrowed down this party to 4 people who could have stolen that guest list. We're saying banana bread now. We're in conversation with a double agent. Look at the other 3 highlights. The other 3 highlights who could have taken the guest list. Notice how they do not have a suspected double agent in conversation with them. So it looks like we're the spy, and that's why Monaters takes the shot as soon as we go to the statues.
Yeah, and it just looks like we were just doing more suspicious things than the other people we were
Banana bread.
suspected of, and that's a great shot from our sniper Monaters, and I believe that is the game.
That's it. Yeah, that's the 7th point for Monaters, and with that shot, he gets the win, and he will get 2 points on the competitive league scoreboard for Copper Division. And so we saw a lot of things in that set. I hope that you were able to keep up with it. These players were actually playing at a very high level, and they were doing a lot of fancy spy plays here.
Yeah, and yeah, I just want to say anyone that was interested or curious, ask questions, have a conversation in a chat, talk with somebody, and I encourage you guys, check out the game too. There's a lot of things to learn, but that's also I think that's one of the appeals to Spy Party. Maybe the memory stuff, but also just there's a lot of stuff to learn in the game, and so it's really fun, and we as a community obviously love it.
Yeah, and so just to summarize everything we learned, and this is the Spy Party Academy. There's going to be a test. I hope you were taking notes. The exam is next week, and it is worth 60% of your grade. What we were seeing in most of those games was a spy trying to accomplish 4 missions. They were very often standing next to the seduction target and flirting with them multiple times. That was 1 mission. They were standing in conversation with a double agent and saying banana bread. That was a 2nd mission. They were picking up statues twice. That's a mission. They were picking up something that the ambassador touched to get fingerprints. They did that twice as well. That was a mission. We saw the spy pick up a statue and change it from one statue to the other. We saw spies many, many times stand by the ambassador and place a bug on them. Those are the missions that the spy is trying to do, and the sniper is watching the party, figuring out who is doing those missions, and hopefully shooting them.
Yeah, and I
Uh,
think the only mission that we didn't do for the night, just out of curiosity, because there are 8 options. The only one we didn't do was microfilm. And microfilm, there's kind of 2 ways to do it. It can be a little bit confusing. It makes more sense, but microfilm is basically just to keep it simple as possible. You bring one book and you put it into a different bookcase. I think I'm just gonna leave that at that for now.
Yeah, those poor bookcases. We just did not see any bookcase action tonight at all. But the bookcase is where you can do a mission as well. All right. If you have any questions about anything you saw, please let us know in the chat. We are going to take a quick bathroom break so everyone can relax after that highly informative session. Go get some water, and we will be back in 2 or 3 minutes with Spy Party 102, where we are going to take everything you've learned and start applying some more intermediate